RUSAL, can you come here? Good boy. This is RUSAL, everybody. He is my German Shepherd dog. I wanted to talk to you about him today because he's a big part of my mental health journey, actually. I am not even going to bother lint rolling because why? Do you think you could turn around so they can see you? Can you look at the camera? Yeah? No. Too smart. Too smart. He actually went right up to the camera. I didn't expect him to do that. Can you sit? Good boy. I asked Jared, my mix engineer, guitarist, co-pilot, BFF bro, if he thought I was a crazy dog lady one time, and his response was hysterical. If you know Jared, you know he's one of the kindest individuals you will ever meet. He's so encouraging. He will not say a negative thing about anybody. He literally said, I think you have a higher affinity and appreciation for these creatures than most people do, which I think translates to, yes, you might be a crazy dog lady, which I'm fine with. I'm totally fine with that. So we got RUSAL when we were in Oklahoma at a training base in a town called Altus, which was literally 4 miles by 4 miles. Not much to do. We weren't planning on getting a dog right then, but we were thinking about getting a dog when we got to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is where we were about to be stationed. The year leading up to getting a German Shepherd, I read books on the breed and how to train them because these guys can be a lot. They're a lot of work to train when they're younger. They're often not food driven, which means you can't just be like, hey, here's a treat. Can you do what I'm asking you to do? They're very affection and play driven, as you can see. My heart. Oh my goodness. I had some experience with dogs and training because my mom actually trained Doberman Pinschers when she was younger, and she taught me and my siblings all how to train when we would foster dogs when I was a kid. But this was going to be my first time getting a dog all to myself as a puppy and raising it, and we picked one of the more high stakes breed. There's a lot of German Shepherds and Huskies and Malinois and all sorts of working breeds that often get given up to humane societies or the pound because around 9 months to a year and a half, they can be a lot to handle because they're going through a lot of changes and people often aren't prepared for the breed that they got. They might pick it because they look pretty or they think they'll be a good companion, which can be great things too. But if you don't know the breed, then you can't do service to the breed you just got. So I'm a very big proponent of doing your breed research before you get a dog. But there are certain things I could not have been prepared for, mostly good ones. Couple of not so good ones. Do you remember your puppyhood? What was it like when I took you home? He did not trust me at all. He literally looked at me and my husband like we had just, well, we did kidnap him from his mother. He's like, you kidnapped me from my mom. I'm in this weird box that's moving on a road, and now I'm at a house that I don't know. This isn't my house. You're not my mother. And now you expect me to eat food? What if you poisoned it? What is this thing you're putting around my neck? He just was not having it the first couple of days. And then by the third day, he was like my boy. He became the Velcro dog. He wanted to be everywhere I was all the time, no matter what I was doing. Even if I'm on the freaking toilet, he has to be at my feet. One of the things I wasn't prepared for was his emotional connection to me. I'd never had that with a dog. Not saying that only German Shepherds can have a deep emotional connection, but there is something extremely unique about him that I've not experienced with other dogs before. My dad says that he has the most human eyes he's ever seen in a dog, and you kind of feel like your soul's being stared into. He has seen me crying, and he has licked tears off of my face, and then followed that with putting his head on my shoulder as if to hug me like a literal person. It's just like, man, I'm very grateful for these creatures. Hi, my boy. Good stay, thank you. If you heard that, that's what we call happy snorts. I found this farm right outside of Dallas, and they had working German Shepherd dogs that were herding longhorn cattle, sheep, and llama, I think. Llama. I think it's llamas. Got to see them working in action, herding some of the cattle, which was super, super cool to see them in their element. Because he's a herding dog, he still will herd people sometimes because he thinks he needs to have everybody in a group so he can see where everyone is and make sure they're all safe at all times. So we have to work on him just chilling out. That's the biggest downside to German Shepherds, is they have to be taught how to be chill. Whereas my golden retriever, his brother Shiloh, you don't need to teach that dog how to chill. You got to teach him how to exercise, because if you don't, then he would just lay around. He was a big part of me having a consistent routine, which is hard to do when you're like in the middle of chaotic moving around for military training stuff and you're never really settled for just a few months at a time, and then you got to make a new routine again. And I had music students that I was teaching online, and I would sometimes write, but I was also in the interim of my music career where I had really thought maybe the door was being shut on that and I was supposed to give it up, because all signs were pointing to it for a time. So when he came in the picture, he was honestly like my biggest purpose for those 4 months. His training I took very seriously. We had a very strict regimen 3 times a day. We had him off leash trained by the time he was 4 months old. If we did not run him twice a day with the ball or the frisbee or something at a giant field we would drive him to every day, he would throw a fit. He would not obey. He would refuse to eat. He would terrorize the cat, chase my husband around the house until he got him to wrestle. It was just endless energy. He still has a lot of energy. I still run him every day, not twice a day anymore, thankfully. He's now 6 years old though, and it took until probably 4 years old for him to be a little bit more chill. He's still very high strung, high alert. If somebody came in my house that was not invited in the house, I am 98.67% sure he would eat their face off, which is like scary, but also I feel so safe with him. Like, he really does take protecting us and our household seriously. If you're invited, he expects you to be his chair because he thinks he's a lap dog. Even though he's 95 pounds, you will be expected to cuddle him if you do come in the house and you are invited. His cuddles are a big part of my day. I cuddle him every morning, every night, throughout the day. RUSAL can tell when I am off, even just a little bit. He really does sit with you in your emotions and changes his energy to match yours. He's in here in the studio with me at all times that I'm working. He will literally nap while I am blasting bass and trying to find the perfect snare or something. I don't know how, but he will literally be snoring. So if I have to start doing vocal takes, I have to kick him out because he snores through me working on music, and it's just crazy how he wants to be wherever I am. So yeah, that's a little bit about RUSAL and why he means so much to me. The loyalty and safety and affection and companionship that I have with my dogs is a really big part of my life. They make my home feel warm and not as lonely when I am by myself for a long period of time when Noah's gone with the military. Come here. We got Shiloh, the brother. This is Shiloh. He's a cream golden retriever. I love my dogs. And if I tell you no to a social event, there's a good chance they're involved in the reason. Definitely not just because I'm introverted and would rather hang out with them than a group of people. Okay, boys, say bye. Say bye. Bye.